This story begins with a man named William Traynor, whose life looked perfect from the outside. He was rich and had a beautiful girlfriend, but one rainy day everything suddenly changed when, while rushing to work and talking on the phone, he tried to stop a taxi without paying attention, and in a single moment, a loud horn and the screeching of tires changed his life forever. The story then shifts to a cheerful girl named Louisa Clark, who always has a smile on her face and works as a waitress in a cafe, serving coffee, tea and cakes while enjoying her simple life. But suddenly the cafe shuts down and she loses her job, forcing her to return to her middle-class home where life is already difficult. Still, she doesn't give up and tries to stay positive, even encouraging her boyfriend Patrick to keep believing in himself. Later, she goes to a job center where she learns that only one job is available for her, a caretaker job for a disabled man, and without thinking too much, she accepts it. The next day she goes for an interview at a large, palace-like house, where Traynor interviews her, and although Louisa feels nervous and acts a little awkward, her simple and honest nature impresses Camilla, and she is offered the job immediately. Later, Louisa is told that this job is actually for Camilla's son, William, who became disabled after an accident, and her role is not just to take care of him but also to become his friend. As the story moves forward, Louisa starts spending time with William and talking to him, and even though it feels a bit strange at first, she is happy to have a job. When she meets William for the first time, she is confused because he is sitting in a wheelchair with messy hair and a beard, and he behaves oddly by making strange sounds just to make her feel uncomfortable. When he finally speaks, his words are full of sarcasm and bitterness because the accident has made him emotionally cold and frustrated. Louisa doesn't like the job at all in the beginning, but when she returns home and sees her family struggling, she decides to continue, and as soon as she tells them about her job, everyone feels relieved and happy. The next day, William's therapist Nathan explains that she doesn't need to do any physical work and that her main job might just be to keep William happy, but her first proper conversation with him goes badly because when she tries to encourage him to go outside, he responds rudely and tells her to talk less, which hurts her feelings, yet she stays strong and keeps trying. Every day, she comes in her colorful clothes and makes an effort to make him feel better, and William is surprised to see that she keeps coming back despite his behavior. At the same time, Louisa talks to her sister Traynor, who wants to start studying again, which worries Louisa because it means more responsibility for her at home. The situation becomes more emotional when William's old friend and his ex-girlfriend come to visit, and it becomes clear that their relationship is complicated, and then they reveal that they are now engaged, which breaks William from the inside, even though he hides his feelings behind cold words. Louisa feels deeply affected by all this and realizes how unfair life has been to William, and she becomes even more upset thinking that he must feel his disability even more after seeing all this. Meanwhile, Patrick does not care much about William's situation and instead focuses on his own plans, convincing Louisa to go to Norway with him for a race with his friends, something she didn't even know about before, and when she finds out, she feels nervous and unsure, but Patrick refuses to step back and pretends everything is fine. The next day when Louisa comes to work, William sees her fixing the photos he had broken earlier, and he gets angry, saying he doesn't want anything that reminds him of his old life because it only makes him feel weaker, and in that anger he snaps at Louisa too, but this time she doesn't stay quiet and replies that she is only doing this job for money and has no interest in sitting there with him, and somehow this touches William deeply. Later that same day he suddenly asks her to watch a movie with him, and even though Louisa feels unsure, she agrees, and after the movie they share their first real and meaningful conversation, and slowly their bond begins to improve. Then William even asks her to go outside with him, and their connection starts to grow, which makes Camilla very happy. However, during a hospital visit, Nathan explains to Louisa how serious William's condition is, telling her that he will never recover, lives in constant pain, and faces a very difficult life, which makes Louisa realize the harsh truth. Then one snowy day, William falls seriously ill with a high fever, and Louisa takes care of him, but his condition gets worse until Nathan arrives quickly to help, and during this moment Louisa notices marks on William's wrist and understands that he is deeply broken inside but hides his pain from everyone. That night, she stays by his side and watches an old birthday video of him with his friends, where he looks like a completely different person, happy, lively, and full of life, and after this their friendship becomes even stronger. But everything changes when Louisa overhears William's parents and finds out that he has decided to go to Switzerland in 6 months to end his life, something Camilla strongly opposes while his father believes it is William's own decision, and hearing this leaves Louisa deeply upset. She even thinks about quitting her job, but her sister encourages her not to give up and reminds her that she still has 6 months to show William that life is worth living, even if he cannot walk. Then comes the wedding day of Rupert and Alicia, where Louisa and William go together, and although things feel awkward at first, everything slowly becomes normal, and during the event, a girl named Mary speaks badly about Alicia, saying she left William in his difficult time and that he is a special person, and Louisa should feel lucky to have met him, and Louisa agrees with this and takes William to the dance floor, where people watch them but they don't care at all. The night becomes even more beautiful when William drives his wheelchair fast while Louisa sits happily with him, both laughing and enjoying the moment. The next day, William's mother feels worried that he stayed out all night, and Nathan also doesn't like that he was drinking, but both notice a positive change in him as he seems happier than before. After this, Louisa and Patrick are seen training together, planning a holiday while running, but Louisa suddenly remembers that she has to stay with William, and hearing this makes Patrick angry because he feels she is giving more time to William than him, and even though Louisa tries to explain, he leaves upset. Despite everything, Louisa realizes that William is still firm on his decision and hasn't changed his plan to go to Switzerland, but she decides to give one last try and plans a big holiday, hoping she can change his mind. One night before leaving, Patrick surprises Louisa, but when he finds out she is going on holiday with William instead of him, he gets even more angry, misunderstands her, and leaves. On the other hand, Louisa and William's holiday turns out to be beautiful, with pleasant weather as they spend time near the pool and beach, and one stormy night as Louisa helps William lie down on the bed, they share a quiet and emotional moment, growing even closer and feeling a deep connection with each other. The next day everything feels happy again and Louisa is full of hope, but that night when she finally shares her feelings, William gently tells her that he loves her too, yet he will not change his decision and still wants to go to Switzerland, and hearing this breaks Louisa's heart as she calls him selfish, while William explains that he cannot live this kind of life and does not want her to hate him for the things he can never give her, which makes Louisa cry as she leaves even though William is also deeply broken inside. When she returns home, his parents are hopeful, but one look at Louisa's face tells them the truth, and when she says she cannot change anything, Camilla breaks down in tears. That same night, Louisa tells her family everything. Her mother reacts with anger, but her father calmly explains that you cannot change someone, you can only accept them and love them, and this makes Louisa realize that she should have been with William in his final moments, so she travels to Switzerland where she stays by his side, and in his last moments they quietly share each other's presence. A few days later, Louisa is in Paris, sitting in the same small cafe William once told her about, where she reads his final letter, in which he thanks her from his heart, asks her to move forward in life, and tells her that he has left enough money for her so she can live freely for herself. And in the end, Louisa is seen walking through the streets of Paris, with a new and beautiful life waiting for her ahead. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching and we'll see you in the next video.